So in this video of coordinate geometry part 2, I'm going to be showing you how we can find the midpoint between two coordinates. So to find the midpoint two coordinates, well, let's first make a mark of our 2 points. So here I'm going to call this point A, and this is going to have coordinates of x1, y1, and this is point B, which is going to have a coordinate of x2, y2. Now if I draw a line that connects those 2 points up, and that's probably about as close as we're going to get. So between those 2 points, then the midpoint, which we're going to call M, which is usually what they're often called. So here I'm going to say it's round about there at a guess. M is the coordinate that I need to find. So making markings on my axes, I find that this point here is going to be x1 and this point here is going to be x2. So the x ordinate of M is going to be the midpoint between those two values. So to find the midpoint, or the midpoint which we'll call capital M, which is not to get confused with the gradient M. So here our midpoint is going to have an x ordinate of where you add x2 plus x1 and you divide that by 2. And similarly for the y ordinates, if I get a different colour, let's go for green. So here my y ordinate there is going to be y1, and this length here is going to be y2. So the y ordinate for M is going to be the middle value between y2 and y1, and so to find that, what I need to do is add the two y ordinates together and divide it by 2. Now as I've wrote in here, I've written down x2 plus x1 and y2 plus y1. It doesn't really matter what order you write those two coordinates in, because when you're adding it doesn't make a difference. And lo and behold, that gives us the formula for how to work out the midpoint between two coordinates. And let's just highlight that. And that is something that you would need to know because it's not given to you in the formula book. So what we're going to do now is show you how we can use that formula to answer some commonly asked questions. So here what we've got is we've been asked to find out the midpoint between these two coordinates. So first things first, what I strongly recommend that you do is you label the coordinates. So for this one here, let's not do that. So let's get that's the pen that I want. And so this coordinate here is going to be my second coordinate, so x2 equals 13, y2 equals 10, and for the first coordinate here, x1 is going to equal 5 and y1 is going to equal 8. So substituting those numbers into the formula that we've just mentioned, and as long as I'm not faffing around with these pens, here we go. So for question A, we've got x1, to add the two y ordinates together, so we've got 5 plus 13 over 2, and we've got 8 plus 10 over 2. And if I work them out, 5 plus 13 is 18, divided by 2 is 9, and 8 plus 10 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. So there we've got our midpoint between those two coordinates. Now for this one here we've got x1 equals minus 4, y1 equals minus 6, and here I've got x2 equals 9 and y2 equals minus 9. So for B, substituting those numbers into the formula, we get adding our y ordinates together, and we get minus 4 over 9 over 2. And adding our y ordinates together, we've got minus 6 plus minus 9 over 2. Now obviously some of you will probably be able to work this out without having to write it down, go straight to the answer, which is absolutely fine, but just be wary when you have got negative numbers to make sure you remember the laws of adding negative numbers together, that you're getting the signs right for your final ordinates. So here we've got minus 4 plus 9 is 5, and so here we've got 5 over 2. Now let's turn into a 0. Let's go back and correct that. So we've got 5 over 2, and minus 6 plus minus 9 is minus 15, so it'll be minus 15 over 2. Now obviously I could write this as 2.5 and minus 7.5, but we're going to leave it as fractions because there is no need for us to go decimals. So in this next example we've got a reverse question. So this is where we are given the answer and we need to work out what part of the question is. So in this particular question, if we get started, so it says the midpoint M between A, which has got coordinate of minus 5, 3, and B is 2, 1. Find the coordinates of B. So this is where we know what the answer is, which is 2, 1, and we need to work out the coordinate of B. Now, because I've only got one missing coordinate, I'm just going to call the coordinates of B X and Y. So substituting this into our formula, what we get is we've got minus 5 plus X divided by 2 has got to equal 2, because that there is my X ordinate. And from that, I've then got that X, and we've got, 3 plus Y divided by 2 is equal to 1. So solving this, what we need to do is take the 2 over to the side. So we've got minus 5 plus X equals 4. Take the 4 over to the side, in which we get X equals 9. And then solving this particular question, we get 3 plus Y equals 2. So therefore Y equals minus 1. So here our coordinates of M is going to be at 9 minus 1. And that is pretty much where the midpoint question stopped in as a standalone question. Obviously this is part of a bigger picture, very much like the gradient and find the distance of a line. So it's really important that you understand the basics of finding the midpoints between two coordinates and also are able to work backwards.